Holy guacamole. Prince Harry is on his book tour for his new book, Spare, which is coming out next week. And my, oh, my, oh, my, oh, my, oh, my, there are a lot of leaks that have already started to pour out. He's doing interviews. People are releasing clips of their interviews. Most of the interviews appear to be airing later this week and this weekend, obviously, because the book comes out on Tuesday. But these are 10 of the biggest, juiciest, and wildest revelations from Prince Harry's book. He's on his book tour right now, making lots of headlines, making lots of accusations. He was also recently just chatting with, like, one of the interviews that I'm seeing going viral, or one of the clips is he chatted with the British journalist Tom Bradby, where he said, "I want a family, not an institution." And he says that he wants to get his father and his brother back. But my thing is, it's like, I don't think the things that you wrote about them in your book are going to help you get them back, Prince Harry. Seems like he's really adding some major gas to the flames. So the interesting thing, though, he's doing Anderson Cooper, he's doing GMA. But the interesting thing about the Tom Bradby interview is that Bradby is the one that famously interviewed Meghan Markle when she was on tour after she had given birth to Archie. Because usually, I guess in the royal family, they do a tour after they give birth to their baby. So he was the one that famously asked her, "Are you okay?" And then she kind of started, she got a little choked up. Seems like she got a little teary-eyed, and basically said, "Yeah, I'm hanging in there." And she's like, "Thank you. Nobody's asked me that." It went viral and I guess made Meghan more relatable to working moms. So to me, I was like, oh, of course he's going to do an interview with Tom Bradby. It feels very strategic, right? Bradby's the one that had this like moment with Meghan. I feel like obviously this is a strategic moment to do an interview with him now, but I feel like Meghan, that was probably when we started to see how we could tweak the narrative in our favor, right? Because we saw, if I'm relatable, if I do these things, then I seem to get people on my side. Whatever, that's neither here nor there. Obviously, we've recapped the documentary. We've chatted about the Oprah interview. We did a book club where we recapped all of Tom Bower's book, Revenge, where it dives into Meghan and Harry. So now let's talk about Spare. He also just did an interview with Anderson Cooper. I believe that airs this weekend. It airs on Sunday. And that's where he says that he wants to make things right with his father and his brother, but then also alludes that they were leaking things in the press. So I'm just like, how do you want to make up with this family and you keep trashing them in the media every chance that you get? And also all these like really big new accusations, why are we getting them now in your book? And we didn't get them in the Oprah interview, nor did we get them in the documentary series. So very convenient how we left these nuggets out until it was time for us to write a tell-all book where we really mention it all. Very convenient timing, Prince Harry. But my thing is, it's like, you can't say I want to make up with my family while consistently trashing them in the media. And if you do want to make up with the family, then why? You've said that they've done these horrible things to you and your wife. Why would you want to make up with them? I wouldn't if they were really that horrible. Meghan Markle doesn't seem to be trying to make things up with her half-sister Samantha. She's like, nah, bitch, I'm done with you. Okay, let's get into it. These are the top 10 biggest revelations from the tour and the book. Number 1, the assault. So he claims that Prince William, his brother, assaulted him, physically assaulted him. So he said he writes, William grabbed me by the collar and ripped my necklace, and then he apparently knocked Prince Harry to the floor. So grabbed his collar, ripped his necklace, knocked him to the floor. He claims that this happened in 2019 after they were having a heated discussion over Meghan Markle. Also, he claims that I guess he was upset that Prince William didn't have nice things to say about Meghan. He referred to Meghan as difficult, rude, and abrasive. Apparently, that seems to be a sentiment that a few people have felt in regards to Meghan. Prince William felt the same way. Harry was not happy about that. There was an altercation. William apparently grabbed him. I don't know if I believe that. And again, why do you want to make up with him? If this is your brother and you want to make up with your brother and you just want to be a family again, what is the end goal with writing this book? What is the end goal of doing the documentary? What is the end goal of doing the Oprah sit down? This would have been a great story to tell Oprah. Oh my God, I got into a physical altercation with my brother over my wife, who they were being mean to. Remember? Very convenient how we left that out. Revelation number 2, he refers to William as his arch-nemesis. He calls William his beloved brother and arch-nemesis. He's both. Talking out of two sides of his mouth, right? He tells Michael Strahan in his Good Morning America interview, which will also be airing later this week, he says, there's always been this competition between us, weirdly. I think it really plays into and is always played by the heir and the spare. William being the heir because he's the direct heir to the throne before Prince Harry. Harry is called the spare. Revelation number 3 is in regards to Camilla. He claims that both he and his brother William were begging their father, King Charles, not to marry Camilla before their wedding. And they're like, you don't have to get married. And they begged him not to marry her. And he completely disregarded them and I guess didn't care. Love wins, love doesn't win. I don't really know. It's clear he doesn't like Camilla. Revelation number 4 is in regards to his drug use. He claims that he started using drugs as a teen. Direct quote from the book. At someone's house during a hunting weekend, I was offered a line of cocaine, is what he's claiming. He was offered a line, and since then, I had consumed some more. It wasn't very fun, and it didn't make me feel especially happy as it seemed to happen to others, but it did make me feel different, and that was my main objective, to be different. He's very dramatic, okay? Obviously, we know this was clearly written by a ghostwriter, but I mean, come on. The drama, the theatrics, I just wanted to feel. I just wanted to be different. So you did cocaine as a teenager? Everybody, I mean, not everybody. I've never done cocaine. But I mean, a lot of people dabble into things when they're a teenager, right? Harry had a reputation for being a party boy. I'm pretty sure this was not the last time he used it. And I'm pretty sure it made him feel a few things, and he was feeling pretty good. To be different, really? Doing cocaine as a teenager, there's nothing different about that, especially when you're a privileged white boy, okay? Thank you, next. Revelation number 5, saying goodbye to William. He says that William's wedding to Kate Middleton was his final farewell to his brother. Goodbye, brother. He writes, I recall Willie walking her back up to the aisle, and as they disappeared through the door, into the carriage that would convey them to Buckingham Palace, into the eternal partnership they pledged, I recall thinking, goodbye. Goodbye, my brother. Goodbye, my friend. Fake tear here. Okay, Revelation number 6. He talks about how he lost his virginity to an older woman. Harry writes in the book, she liked horses quite a lot and treated me unlike a young stallion. Ooh, she just wanted to ride that stallion. What is that song? Ride Me? Quick ride, after which she'd smacked my rump and sent me to grace. Among the many things about it that were wrong, it happened in a grassy field behind a busy pub. Okay. Again, Harry, this doesn't make you any different or anything unique. I'm pretty sure if we all remember our first time, it wasn't that great. My first time was on an Amtrak train with an older man. It wasn't anything special. It was really kind of awful. Thank you, next, okay? Now, actually, I guess Harry and I are just like, are similar in that way. Yeah, there's nothing cute. I mean, I love that he refers to himself as a young stallion, but he definitely seems to be, painting this picture of, to me, it seems like he is alluding to the fact that maybe he was taken advantage of. Okay, we'll give him a brownie point for that. Obviously somebody older. I think it's gross when people sleep with people that are like 18, 19, 20 years old. Don't sleep with anybody younger than 21. I just don't think, even though like legally you may be an adult, like there's just not a level of maturity or understanding or anything that the older person does have. An older person does have a level of understanding, does have a level of experience that, I don't love when people that are older sleep with, people that are younger. If you're both older, like mid-20s, late 20s, or mid-20s and beyond, I think is a little bit of a different story, but like early 20s, late teens, kind of gross. But good luck to you, stallion. Revelation number 7. He talks about Kate and Meghan and some of their beef. So he claims that Kate and Meghan got into it about the timing of the wedding rehearsal and the flower dresses, and that Kate was very upset. Apparently, she was upset that Meghan had said that it seemed that Kate had baby brain because of her hormones. Kate didn't like that. Kate was very unhappy that Meghan said that she had baby brain because I guess Kate didn't feel like Meghan knew her all that well. As we know, there was clearly tension between Kate and Meghan. It's unclear whether the tension came from Kate or whether it came from Meghan. I believe that it's both. I think they both got caught up in the cattiness. I believe, once one thing comes up, then, it's easier to kind of just keep things going. It obviously seemed like there was a bit of contention between William and Harry. So naturally, why wouldn't there be some contention between their wives, right? Whatever. I'm pretty sure Harry was like, oh my God, my brother's a douche. My brother's this, my brother's that. As brothers, when there's contention between siblings, like, yeah, you're going to be like, oh, my brother's this, my brother's that. And so the new girlfriend, the new wife is going to be like, oh, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. Like, you're going to take your man's side. Or you do the opposite and you try to repair the relationship. It definitely doesn't seem like Meghan wanted to help his relationship with his family. Because as Diana Espear said on the podcast earlier this week, she was like, listen, the royal family, whether they were doing really well or not behind closed doors, seemingly in public, they were doing just fine until Meghan came along. Obviously, correlation doesn't always equal causation, but I think we can read between the lines on that one. I'm not accusing Meghan of breaking up the royal family, but I mean, come on, man. Like, Revelation number 8. He talks about his fight with Meghan. This one is something else, okay? So he wrote, maybe the wine went to my head. Maybe the weeks of battling the press had me worn down. For some reason, when the conversation took an unexpected turn, I became touchy, then angry, disproportionately, sloppily angry. He says that he was oversensitive that night and that he snapped at Meghan and spoke to her harshly and cruelly. Sounds like a marital spat between a couple, right? What, you snapped at her? Haven't we all snapped at a partner at some point when we were caught up in the moment? She was calm, but said in a quiet, level tone that she would never stand for being spoken to like that. I mean, was she the editor? Was she the proofreader? Come on. I nodded. She wanted to know where it came from. I don't know. She asked, where did you hear a man speak like that to a woman? Did you hear adults speak that way when you were growing up? I cleared my throat, looked away, and responded, yes. And then she smacked me on my bum. No, that last part I added in. But my God, how insufferable are we? He snapped at her, and all of a sudden he's like, oh my God, this is how men speak to women in the royal castle. Oh, come on. Take some accountability for your actions. Say, I got caught up in the moment. I was a little lit. Sorry I snapped at you. But you know what? Sometimes you can be a bitch. And you know what? Sometimes I can be a bitch. And we can both have our moments that are bitchy. And that's okay because we're humans and we have our moments. And that's okay. Humans have moments. Humans have spats. We work through them. This is a very hyperbolized and played up version that he seems to be giving us in the book. But I guess, you got to play it up in order to make those book sales. Got to keep that paycheck, right? Got to make sure we're keeping a little cushion under that $100 million Netflix deal and that $20 million Spotify deal, right? Okay. Then we get into accusation number 9, the Nazi costume. So he blames Kate and William for his Nazi costume. As you remember, back in 2005 when he was 20, he was dressed up as a Nazi. He says that at the time he was debating between 2 different costumes. He was either going to be a pilot or he was going to be a Nazi. And I was like, wow, we couldn't have picked between an Indian and a Nazi, something a little more on brand for the party boy. He says that since he was so torn on what to do, should he be a pilot or should he be a Nazi, right? Because morally you're like, yeah, I'm torn. Do I go with the problematic costume or do I go with the pilot? Simple costume, right? He claims that he phoned Willie and Kate and asked them what they thought. Apparently, he says, they both howled, worse than Willie's leopard outfit. Way more ridiculous, which again was the point. He says that the whole point of wearing the Nazi costume was because it was meant to be ridiculous, right? It was meant to be a cheeky little joke. Lad. He calls it one of the biggest mistakes in his life. Okay, well, if it's one of the biggest mistakes in your life and you feel bad about it, why are you dragging William and Kate into it? Like, what is the point of this? Whatever. Then we get to the final revelation, number 10, the title of his book, Spare. He claims that the title of his book is called Spare because that's what his father, King Charles, branded him as the day that he was born. He claims that King Charles, formerly Prince Charles, King Charles said, wonderful. Or I guess he said this to Diana. Wonderful. Now you've given me an heir and a spare. My work is done. Apparently he said this back in 1984. It sounds like a joke to me, right? Like, we all kind of make a joke. I'm pretty sure lots of parents have made jokes about, about their kids. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they love you any less. I mean, it's very woe is me. It's very victimhood, right? But that seems to be very on brand for Meghan and Harry. They love to paint themselves as the victims, yet they're constantly going and putting themselves at the center of criticism, at the center of media scrutiny. They constantly put themselves out there and then are like, I'm just telling my story. I have a right to tell my truth. It's like, yeah, but then you can't go and cry and play victim, You are, you're throwing yourself into the line of fire. I don't really feel bad for you. I honestly don't even want to buy the fucking book because I'm like, I don't even want to know what else is it. I don't want to read it because I don't want to give him my money. But maybe I will get a copy of the book to read it. That way you won't have to. Let me know if you're interested in that and we'll see. The book comes out, it'll be released Tuesday, January 10th, so this upcoming Tuesday. Spare by Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. Why are you even saying Duke of Sussex? I thought you wanted to totally depart from the royal family, but that's how the book is written. It's Spare by Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. Duke of Victimhood. Duke of Victim Town. I want to take you to Victim Town. More coverage of the Royals will be coming out on the podcast, on the YouTube. Like I said, we have a whole playlist dedicated to Tom Bower's book, Revenge. It is in if you are on the YouTube, then there is a playlist called Zack Pack Weekly Unpacks. All of the Tom Bower reviews are in there. Then Harry and Meghan documentary reviews are in there as well. And I'm thinking of maybe we do some of the Diana biopics. Maybe we do some of the Diana books. I think there's one called the Diana Chronicles. I'm thinking maybe that may be a good future recap for us to do in the coming weeks or months. Let me know if you're interested in more royal coverage. You can always follow me at Just Plain Zack. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and hit that bell button right down there at the bottom of this video. The bell button will make sure that you always get notified when there's some new tea to be spilled. All right, guys, I love you. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you soon.